Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi, on sign language Elizabeth Nakakoni. Let's take a look at the top stories tonight.
Brought to you by Trinity Ethanol Stoves and Fuel. Enjoy cleaner, healthier and affordable cooking. Cook your food in less than 2,000 shillings per day. No charcoal. Stop deforestation. We are looking for agents across Uganda. Trinity, Bible Corner.
Uganda shillings to support farmers. 9 Chinese nationals arrested by NEMA over illegal sand mining in Katonga, while 6 suspects killed as police foils a money robbery in Kamocha, a Kampala suburb. And CAF postpones 2024 African Nations Championship to August 2025. Hello once again. President Museveni has attended the opening ceremony of the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week today, a closed session that kicked off a week-long gathering of global leaders focused on sustainability. The event is running under the theme The Nexus of Next, Supercharging Sustainable Progress, and aims at accelerating sustainable economic progress and address pressing global challenges. Later in the day, President Museveni witnessed the Zayed Sustainability Prize Awards ceremony at the Abu Dhabi National Exhibition Center, where individuals from around the world shared inspiring stories of how the initiative has transformed their lives. The ceremony celebrated the 11 winners of the prestigious Zayed Sustainability Prize, recognizing their remarkable contributions to creating a more sustainable and inclusive world. President Museveni extended his congratulations to the winners and expressed gratitude to Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the leader of the UAE, for hosting this event.
Easy to hustle, download from Uganda. Ensuring for food-based and nutritious lifestyle food and organic fertilizers using black soldier flour market.
And the Netherlands government has announced a grant of 80 million euros, approximately 300 billion Uganda shillings, to support farmers in Uganda. This announcement came as the newly deployed Netherlands ambassador to Uganda, Frederick Coupel, was paying a courtesy call to the Prime Minister Rhoda Ngonzi at her office in Kampala.
Netherlands is an agricultural powerhouse in Europe, with 53% of the land used for commercial farming. In Uganda, about 60% of the Ugandans depend on farming, but majority are still in subsistence farming. Now, the Netherlands government has announced a grant of 80 million euros, approximately 300 billion Uganda shillings, to support farmers in Uganda.
We've just signed for several programs for 80 million euros, so 80 million euros for 4 years for food security at smallholder farmers. And what I've seen, I was in Fort Portal, and what really was quite amazing, so we work with families and communities.
The newly appointed Netherlands ambassador to Uganda, Frederick Coupel, was speaking during a courtesy call with the Prime Minister of Uganda, Rhoda Ngonzi, in Kampala. The ambassador also reported the Netherlands' support towards the fishing sector in Uganda.
They're building a 20 million euro worth fish feed factory in Jinja. Also we have Jalelo, which is the biggest fish farm in Uganda, is also Dutch. And we've just signed with your Minister for Fisheries, Helene, a letter of intent to start working on the fish, on the aquaculture, the products of the smallholder farmers, to work it into fish feed that they can use here in Uganda but also export to the East African community.
She also revealed to the Prime Minister that her government will avail 30 million euros, about 132 billion Uganda shillings, for Uganda's regional referral hospitals.
There will be 50% that is a contribution from the Netherlands, so in total 35 million euros for those regional referral hospitals. But then Uganda has to come up with the other 35%.
The Prime Minister commended the Netherlands government for the continued support to Uganda. Nabanja told her guests why Ugandans still insist on having President Museveni as a candidate of their choice.
If God was creating Uganda, I think he knew maybe at one time we shall have presidents like Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to help humanitarian, in a way of helping other human beings who are running away from their countries and stress situations for dear life. So for us as a country, sometimes people wonder why Ugandans are still stuck on him. Whenever he offers himself for re-election, people will vote him. Why? Because we are entering into the middle income status. We don't want to stagger with people and we go back. So we who know developmental issues, security and peace is the lowest common multiple of any development, of any country to develop. And so we look at him as an icon of peace, one in the region and two for our country. So we don't let him go. Sometimes I think we overburden him. You cannot separate between peace and President Museveni in this country. For us, we want to be peaceful.
And for us, it's key that this region remains peaceful.
The Prime Minister also appealed to the Netherlands to support Uganda's parish development model.
I want partnership with the Netherlands in this regard, so that we move together in unison. We only need your support, because it's not enough.
You have our support, absolutely.
Yeah. I am still struggling to. In our partnership forum, I will request you people.
Are here to work with you.
Compliment.
Yeah, compliment, and also very much what Uganda does with migration and reception of refugees is exceptional.
Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Now, 9 Chinese nationals have been arrested in Ramokoma, Bokassa in Mpigi district for illegally backfiling, sand degrading and blocking of water flow in River Katonga. Their arrest followed a compliance operation mounted by the Environmental Protection Force and the NEMA, together with the sister agencies including Ministry of Water. Susan Nawonga has the report.
In the middle of River Katonga is a beehive of illegal sand mining activities by one company identified as Edgars International Company Limited and another unknown illegal company said to be owned by one Shaozing Zhejiang, also known as Fei, and Lili, both of Chinese descent. The two companies backfilled several acres of River Katonga banks, diverted the water flow, blocked some channels and also encroached on the river to create room for their sand mining. Edgars International Company Limited was given a 5-year license issued in December 2020, only approved to do sand mining on 3.8 acres of land.
These people have not reached NEMA, we do not know them. The first site they reached NEMA, we gave them our conditions, but they abused the conditions.
The initial operating license, due to expire in December, was issued to the company by the former management of NEMA. However, although Edgars Company had been given 3.8 acres, the company illegally advanced on some part of the river, encroaching on over 10 acres, which contravened with the initial agreement.
The license expires this year in December. But these people had gone against the dictates of the approval, and they had degraded up to 10 acres.
The company backfilled River Katonga banks and part of the river, and also created illegal access roads in the middle of the river.
These are banks of River Katonga. This is where the major activity is currently taking place. But we can see that there is a provision. These people have backfilled that place. They have made it a road to access River Katonga.
At both sites were equipment including excavators, bulldozers, sino-trucks, powered engines and assembled sand dredgers that were being used for illegal mining. In an operation mounted by NEMA and other sister agencies at 2 a.m. saw 3 wheel loaders 8 Sinotracs, 4 excavators, 1 bulldozer and 20 dredger engines impounded and taken to Ngonzi police station. 9 suspects of Chinese nationality were arrested and taken to Nema.
These people are being accused of illegal sand mining, contrary to the National Environment Act, Cap 181, Section 55.
During the operation, it was established that over 40 acres have been encroached on and degraded by both EDCOP and the other unlicensed company headed by one Fei and Lili. It was also established that the 2 sand mining companies have been disposing dangerous chemicals into River Katonga, causing damage to the ecosystem. Several equipment was also abandoned and left floating and rusting on the waters, posing a danger to the environment.
They have accessed the river and their dredgers for dredgers. We are failing to bring out, but like I've told you, we are mobilizing capacity to make sure that these dredgers are pulled out of River Katonga.
The suspects will be arraigned before the environmental court upon conclusion of the legal process. The 2 companies, according to NEMA, will be required to restore the degraded area or pay a fine not less than 600 million Uganda shillings or face imprisonment once convicted.
You can pay up to 600 million shillings and be imprisoned up to 12 years. And you can do both.
The illegal actions of sand mining contravened with Section 55 of the National Environment Management Act of 2019. Susan Naung and Andrew Sebira reporting for UBC TV.
And the Ugandan police force is hunting for 2 suspected criminals linked to a series of money heists in the Kampala metropolitan area. Kampala metropolitan spokesperson Patrick Onyango has revealed that the suspects have been targeting financial institutions. The latest incident of robbery interception in Kamocha led to the neutralization of 6 suspects who have been on the security watch list.
Security operatives in an intelligence-led operation killed 6 suspected robbers at different locations within Kamocha. According to the police, these suspects were on a mission to rob a bank client in the area.
It is alleged that one of the suspects that was shot dead parked his motorcycle here from midday to about 5 p.m. an act that caused a lot of suspicion amongst residents. When questioned, he said he was waiting for someone from within one of the banks in the locality.
Actually, they use border, and you can't tell who is this. You can't recognize that's what this is a thief or is not a thief. And all this has been happening.
Police have revealed that these individuals were already on the police watch list.
The moment you start robbing people and to get information that so and so is robbing people, immediately you enter our watch list.
The suspects are linked to a series of robberies in the Kampala metropolitan area, including stealing 100 million shillings from a man named Tibamanya in Kawempe.
Same group attacked and robbed one Baraka Francis 30 million shillings when he had just withdrawn that money from a bank. The same group on the 10th attacked and robbed Tayebwa Bruno, robbed him of 3 million. The same group on 8th of this month, this year, they robbed a car dealer called Kawewa Jamil.
We returned to the locations where the suspects were neutralized and business was back to normal. Eyewitnesses suggest that the security operatives should have opted for arrests instead of shooting to kill.
Washi omuntu mukwate nga we yadda amukutte obulungi amutuuzizza akkiriza bantu badde bakyayita poliisi naye nejja ne mutwala ku poliisi naate omuntu atudde ayina omwana omuganda ntunulya mu face n'omukubira amasasi kyo si kirungi kyadde kyantiisa nnyo.
That is according to you, but our investigation does not point to that. Our investigation shows these are suspects who are fleeing the scene.
The identities of the 6 deceased suspects are yet to be verified.
We have learned that 2 of the suspects are still at large. Police is pursuing them as investigations continue. Tony Kent Chaze, Central Police Station, Kampala.
Meanwhile, Parliament has started recovering property meant for Uganda Broadcasting Corporation after reports of misallocation and encroachment posed a problem to the current administration. The need to expedite the process of securing all UBC land has been recommended by the Committee of Parliament for ICT and National Guidance as they toured some of UBC sites around Kampala.
Members of Parliament on the ICT and National Guidance Committee have revisited Nakuru-based UBC sites.
Some part of the land has been taken by Sky's Hotel, but UBC is saying they are in court with them. They are trying to follow up.
Led by the committee chair and member of Parliament, Tony Ayo, the committee is on a fact-finding mission to mainstream management of UBC land.
And management and board at UBC, we are excited because the committee is very interested in seeing how to legislate and make sure that whatever they ask Parliament to do is based on fact.
At the Nakuru site, the biggest contention is between UBC and Radio 1, whose must affect UBC development plans.
These court cases emanate from the time when UBC was formed, so they are not new. It's only the backlog in the judiciary that is delaying their disposal. We believe that the judiciary will make time to make sure that they are concluded.
So now UBC had agreed with them, okay, you can only put your wires there, but remember the land is ours, but they are saying no, they are trying to claim that. So that's the issue which we are also trying to find out. Define the agreement, understand the agreement thoroughly and properly so that we also deal with that dispute.
They were also interested in the former Ministry of Information flats located at Plot 4, 5 and 6 in Ntinda.
These were pool houses for Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Uganda Television then. Now we are realizing this land was sold to the sitting tenants.
This is said to have been initially UBC property.
UBC is in a court trying to say Uganda Land Commission sold the land without asking for their position because they have interest in the land. So they are in a court, but the land is being developed.
The committee then proceeded to Bukorobi to check UBC's key installations and UBC property at Kibera Road in Bukorobi.
Looking at how do we leverage our assets, which are littered all around the country. First, we want to secure them. We want to make sure that when we are leveraging whatever we can get out of it, it translates directly into improving our infrastructure.
This was the UBC land, all of it. Now the Ministry of ICT or Information then decided to say, let's allocate this land out for development. But now we are realizing even the developers who were given the land have not been able to develop it.
This land, which initially belonged to the national broadcaster, has been leased off for development, although there is no visible development.
But also the boundaries of the land is not clear. Now we are also seeing NEMA having a claim, refusing for further development on this land, claiming it's a wetland.
For UBC is not also sleeping on job, but rather looking at ways how they can get milk out of the barren stones.
Plan as UBC is one, to make sure that all our properties are secured. Because we have a vesting order of 2004-2005 that vested properties at the time when Radio Uganda and UTV were merged. But we haven't done much with that property. So we want to make sure all the property is titled. We want to make sure that we get development partners. A case in point is Bugolobi, where we have 23 acres of land that is not encumbered. We want to get a serious development partner, and the preferred one, anyone with enough money that is interested in investing in Uganda.
Parliament maintains that with the current development and urbanization, UBC should be helped to exploit the trends.
To the extent that last year we were able to secure, even this year, funding for UBC supplementary. But also, as I talk, as of today, we have learned Ministry of Finance, out of the supplementary that was passed by Parliament, they only released money to pay for salaries and allowances, but greater part of the money they have not yet released. And as a committee, we shall continue to engage the ministers of finance to ensure that they give what is due to UBC so that they are able to perform.
Parliament will summon concerned parties with agencies like NEMA, KCCA and Uganda Land Commission expected to take the front seats. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
And the General Court Martial has refused to refer Dr. Kizza Besigye's case to the Constitutional Court for interpretation of some laws, saying the matters raised by his lawyers are already a subject of pending appeal before the Supreme Court. Now, Dr. Kizza Besigye, his co-accused Obedi Lutale and Captain Danny Sole are still in the General Court Martial on offences related to security and unlawful possession of ammunition. When the matter resumed, there was a twist following the ruling by Chairman of the Court Martial, Brigadier General Freeman Robert Mugabe, when he dismissed the application regarding the jurisdiction of this court to try Dr. Kizza Besigye and Obedi Lutale. Chairman Mugabe based his ruling on sections 208 and 209. The rules of procedures gives the court powers to try the accused. Upon receiving the ruling, the defense objected to the proceedings, asking court to avail them with a reference to seek redress in the Constitutional Court over the issues raised in the ruling. Defense also wanted to challenge Section 208 that empowers this court to try civilians the alleged offences against Dr. Kizza Besigye and Lutale, saying they violate Articles 28.7, 12 and 37.1. By citing the decided cases against them, the Uganda Law Society versus Attorney General versus Joseph Mushabe, and the recent constitutional petition of Michael Kabasiguruka versus Attorney General, which highlight the impartiality of this court. They asked court to adhere to the above decisions. The defense also wanted to challenge the proceedings in which the accused were extradited from Kenya to Uganda and the alleged memorandum of understanding between the two countries. However, all prayers were rejected by the prosecution. After listening to both sides, the court refused to refer Dr. Kizza Besigye's case to the Constitutional Court for interpretation, saying the matters raised by his lawyers are already a subject of a pending appeal before the Supreme Court.
So we are saying that this section gives our clients the right, automatic right, which is not debatable because it uses the word shall.
The security of the defense forces consciously withheld the said vital information from the proper authorities. So, Captain Dennis Ora, have you had understood the charge read to you on count 2?
I have heard and understood.
Come on.
I have heard and have understood.
And you have not guilty entered. Haj Obeid Lutale, have you heard and understood the charge read to you on count 3?
Yes, but I decline.
A plea of not guilty entered. Statement of offence on count 4. Unlawful possession of firearms contrary section 4, subsection 1 and 2 of the Firearms Act, Cap 320. Particulars of offence. Colonel retired Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Obeid Lutale on the 16th November 2024, while at Riverside apartment in Nairobi, Kenya, were found in an unlawful possession of a pistol model HB 1015 1953, which is ordinarily monopoly of the defense forces. So, Colonel retired Dr. Kizza Besigye, have you had understood the charge read to you on count 4?
I do and I decline.
A plea of not guilty entered. Haj Obeid Lutale, have you had understood the charge read to you on count 4?
Yes, and I decline.
A plea of not guilty entered.
Bakiransi baffe bawakanya obuyinza bwa kooti eno okubawozesa mu nsonga nnyingi
the ones that you're representing in the courts of law. The plea was taken.
And Makerere University's Council Chairperson, Vice-Chancellor and management have been commended for promoting evidence-based research and innovation. On the second day of Makerere University's 75th graduation, Vice-Chancellor Professor Barnabas Banawangwe highlighted that the College of Health Sciences leads in research and community engagement, managing numerous consortia with African and global universities, cementing Makerere University's global collaborations.
Makerere University has graduated students from the College of Health Sciences and those from the College of Business and Management on its second day of the 75th graduation.
I think I knew only one doctor in the entire 3 districts that I grew up in, and I always wanted to be able to fill up the gap where we always needed doctors and never had access to them at all. It's really made me feel like if I can become a doctor and come back to my community and work with my people, that would mean a lot to me.
I'm the happiest graduate today. That's to be honest. You know, these awards are two, one to the sciences, one to the humanities. I'm very happy that I'm receiving one. I'm very happy I can't express my happiness in words. That's being honest. I'm very...
State Minister for ICT, Godfrey Kabyanga, has been awarded with a master's degree in economics to equip himself with knowledge in different sectors.
Since I left school, I have studied marketing, I've studied procurement, I've studied urban management, I have studied economics. That's what I studied here. Now I'm mastering in it. So I have studied so many things. And it keeps on improving on my understanding of so many issues. So even when you're a minister, and mainly a minister of information, you should be able to answer something about procurement.
The Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, through the State Minister for Primary Education, Joyce Moriku Kaduku, urged university staff to be role models and patriotic.
I therefore urge the staff of our universities to be role models and patriotic and always be mindful of the need to nurture and skill a young generation to serve this country productively.
The Chancellor, Makerere University, Dr. Crispus Chiyonga, cited a gap of training Ugandans abroad, especially human medicine, where they are not given opportunity to practice.
Countries where Ugandans train in human medicine, the exposure to the practice of clinical human medicine is very limited for mainly cultural reasons. The university could partner with these universities so that when it comes to the stage of practical clinical training, these students return to Uganda for that purpose.
Makerere College of Health Sciences, the oldest college, accounts for 50% of all the research grants won and also supports Ministry of Health through various projects and programs.
Critical support to the Ministry of Health through the numerous projects and programs that they manage. It houses the Infectious Diseases Institute, which is doing tremendous work for Uganda, providing critical care to more than 20% of all HIV/AIDS patients that require antiretroviral therapy, reaching the remotest parts of Uganda, including the islands on Lake Victoria.
I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisia in Makerere.
Now, the Confederation of African Football has announced the postponement of the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship to August 2025. According to CAF, progress has been made in the construction and upgrading of stadiums, training fields, hotels, hospitals, and other critical infrastructure in the 3 host countries of Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. However, technical and infrastructure experts have advised that more time is needed to ensure that all facilities meet the high standards required for a successful tournament. CAF President Dr. Patrice Motsepe has commended the leadership of Kenya's President William Ruto, Tanzania's Samia Suluhu, and Uganda's Yoweri Museveni for their commitment and progress. He was confident that the ongoing work on football infrastructure and other facilities will meet CAF's requirements by August 2025. Dr. Motsepe emphasized that with the continued efforts in the region, the championship will be a resounding success when it finally takes place. Meanwhile, CAF has confirmed that the draw for the tournament will proceed as planned on Wednesday, January the 15th, 2025 at 8 p.m. in Nairobi time. It will be held in Nairobi, Kenya. The exact dates for the rescheduled championship in August 2025 will be announced at a later time.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels, and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukota Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
Ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripsi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu ya Uganda.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. After the successful summit on the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, the respective member states will need to ensure that the inspirations of the summit are achieved. This is possible if the respective states invest on agriculture to ensure that the value chain equitably shares positive outputs. This calls for rethinking of priorities could help end hunger and poverty on the African continent. Following the peace entails the take-home messages from the three-day summit which ended in Kampala.
The extraordinary summit on Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program was thought of after the failure to hit the target of the Malabo Declaration, especially to end hunger and poverty by 2025. In the scorecard of 7.8 out of 10, only 18 countries had achieved at least 5 out of 10, which called for a comprehensive review of the strategies. Hence, the Cardiff Kampala Summit.
But it is not because it was not because member states did not make progress. They made some progress, but the benchmark to reach there was very high.
The leaders were cognizant of the economic shocks like COVID-19 pandemic, conflicts and climate change, and thus adopted a theme dubbed Sustainable and Resilient Agri-Food Systems for a Healthy and Prosperous Africa to change the narrative. This is a six-fold strategy prepared to transform Africa's agri-food systems, including 1. Intensifying sustainable food production, agro-industrialization and trade. 2. Boosting investment and financing for transformation. 3. Ensuring food and nutrition security. 4. Advancing inclusivity and equitable livelihoods. 5. Building resilient agri-food systems. And 6. Strengthening agri-food systems governance.
But we are just on the policy level. In terms of implementation, this is the responsibility of the member states.
At the 3-day summit, leaders agreed upon avenues to achieve the decade-long strategies, among which is enhancing peace and security to ensure that the respective states have stable institutions. So, without adequate implementation of the strategies as agreed upon, the objectives will remain wanting.
We have work where countries that have done it have actually seen huge progress. Any country that has invested 10% has seen huge progress. So the biggest shortfall has been that very few countries, or a handful, let me not say very few, a handful of countries have been able to do 10%.
The most important thing is to make sure that the private sector is enabled by governments to invest more by creating an enabling environment, making sure that we have the right policies, making sure that we are fighting corruption and removing all bureaucratic bottlenecks that hamper investments in Africa.
The member states eye the Africa Intercontinental Free Trade Area while pursuing economic integration. But this is only achieved if the countries invest in respective infrastructures to ease physical connection.
So that we can put those measures to eliminate the passports, so that we will be the free movement of, of women and the goods, amongst our region. If you look at the West Africa, this thing doesn't exist. They have already got a very good integration. They have the same currency. They don't need visa to travel. They travel with this thing among that region.
As long as the agriculture high production areas still face the challenges of poor infrastructure, imports will continue to be a priority.
One of the reasons we are sending 100 billion out is because it's easier to get food from Brazil than it is to get it from your village, about 200 kilometers from your city.
It is on record that 30% of farmers' produce is lost on the fields, calling for the political will and commitment to change the narrative.
The businesses that have done well are the businesses that have figured out how to make a value chain work for every player in the value chain. Because if I'm not profitable, I'll be the weakest link. So today, most of our value chains are weak because the weakest link is the farmer. If I'm in the business and I'm not profitable, I'm not going to do what is expected, right?
It is also important to ensure that the agricultural practices are intentional, such that the market does not reject the produce. This will help reduce the gap of post-harvest loss.
I have innovated the word Yumalaga do everything. So Yumalaga produce.
Is that your own creation?
It is my own creation, Yumalaga do. So you have not organized your production. You have not complied to the standards and requirements of the market. You get. So by the time you get to the market, your produce is rejected. So we lose the produce in that case. Farmers need extension, but that extension should not be generalized extension. It has to be specialized extension that is the product focused, that is the market focused, not this kwara all over the place.
Cardiff leaders also called for avenues of making sure that farmers are more resilient by creating mutual relationship with the authorities and understanding the needs of the farmers.
We've always come at this smallholder farmer problem from a perspective of being very solution oriented, in the sense that we provide a solution, and the solution is based at what we do well, not what the farmer wants. We've figured out to focus on what the farmer wants and what the farmer needs to transform his livelihood. The farmer needs seeds, but he also needs fertilizers, but he also needs a market, but he also needs water, but he also needs ABCD, he needs financial inclusion and all that. How do you create an ecosystem of service that helps business work with the farmer? Because they have visibility of who the farmer is, because they have means of reaching the farmer, because they can engage with the farming community.
There is no resilient agri-food system without resilient actors. The kind of life our farmers live should be a going concern before even you're concerned about how flooding and droughts are. The kind of life they live. Let everybody reflect at the countryside the kind of life smallholder farmers are living. Those are not the lives they lived in the olden days of our grandparents.
The respective member states need to integrate the CARDIP strategies into their respective national development plans to ensure that the objectives are reached at.
How are we resourcing these interventions, and how are we expanding outreach and service delivery on purpose? But if we are still scattering our little resources all over, however, by whoever, then another decade is going to leave us and we move into another capital. If we are still alive, we shall go to another capital and a new declaration will be made.
President Yoweri Museveni, while giving his closing remarks during the CARDIP summit, reminded the leaders of how Uganda organized its systems in form of 4 sectors to be able to change the narrative.
So we identified the 4 sectors: commercial agriculture, manufacturing, services, tourism, hospitality, professional services, and later on another sector, ICT. That's how the economy has been growing quite well. We are now a middle-income country, but we are going to grow even much faster than we have been growing.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Beauty that you can only find here. In the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within.
Children and grandchildren of the late Nicholas Ndifuna, who was killed in 1971, are demanding justice to reclaim the land on which their late father, was murdered and buried on. The land in question is situated in Kalagala, Wanjeyo, Kawungo Parish, Chamiende Sub-County in Mukono District. We found them at the village meeting expressing their dissatisfaction. Here are the details.
This grievance was brought before the village court in Kalagala Wanjeyo, chaired by village chairperson Judge William Sembatya, with the head of police and a local officer from Nagalama Police Station, Ali Mikenga, in attendance.
Kubangera nabo bajiwandika nga balaga nti Serunkuma muki mufu. Nti naye baba bagaba ebyobugagga bye. Ekibanja kya Ndikola tebakigabira abaana baani ba Serunkuma.
Stephen Kakumba, the deceased son, shared that they were very young when their father was killed, narrowly escaping harm themselves.
Wada ye yatuddusa okutujja wano nga abasajja abatataata bafuuse ekizibu ffenna bagenda tutemaatema. Fujjo lyonna ennyumba ne bagikoona ne banyaga ebyalimu ne balya enkoko embuzi nga bwe baagala. Ekisooka wenjogerera wano ndi musajja mukulu
He explained that his father, a laborer, had acquired the disputed land during his time working in the village. Kakumba added that the land dispute had escalated to court proceedings, but the murderers did not wait for the court's ruling and took matters into their own hands.
Kubanga bwe najjanga nga benjagala okujjako ekibanja ate be baami nemererwa n'enzirayo n'enkomawo era bwe nakomawo era kyekimu bwe natuukira ng'ate oli alina bw'ayita bano era ne siyambibwa n'enzirayo n'enkomawo n'ensanga omugenzi Ssenfuma ng'alima ku kibanja abeera na bulooto wali kuba ngambye yasenguka naye gyali ne mubuuza wafuna otya obuyinza obulima ku kibanja kyandikola nangamba nkubuulire sigulanga ku kibanja naye kwe nnimira banjazikawo nasula wa mukoddomi wange wasajja.
Elderly villagers confirmed knowing Nicholas Ndifuna and acknowledged that he was murdered, supporting Kakumba's account. The Lutalo family, who are accused of granting Ndifuna the land, declined to appear on camera but agreed to reconvene on the 16th of this month to reach a final resolution. Sudat Kaye, UBC News, UBC News, UBC News.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UKUSAF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work and participate in a digital society.
We came up with a project which we took to UKSAF, and we're happy that UKSAF supported it. That project is called ICT for Farmers. What do we get from ICT for Farmers? We managed to skill up to 100,000 farmers.
Now in business, government has directed the reopening of Way Bridge to enable Bunyoro sugarcane farmers sell sugarcane.
Bunyoro sugarcane farmers.
It follows a meeting between the Minister for Trade Industry and Cooperatives. A stakeholder in the meeting, who hails from Bunyoro, also State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs Balamba Rugahara, told UBC that the directive by the Trade Minister to reopen the Way Bridge takes immediate effect.
Union has reopened the bridge to serve sugarcane farmers in Bunyoro sub-region. It follows a sugarcane farmers' protest after Ministry of Trade ordered closure of the Way Bridge and heavy deployment of police to halt any sugarcane business. The State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs Balamba Rugahara, who also hails from Bunyoro sub-region, told UBC that an early morning engagement with stakeholders has resolved the impasse.
Following a story I saw on UBC last night, regarding the closure of all way bridges in Bunyoro, way bridges that work on sugar trade, I engaged my senior colleague Minister Mzee Mwebesa, and we agreed in principle that the way bridges should remain open to enable sugarcane outgrowers or cooperative buy sugar, the sugarcane, and outgrowers may negotiate with Chinyara for a better price of their sugarcane. I want to thank Mzee Mwebesa for allowing a good proposal of sitting with all the stakeholders to hold a meeting at his chambers on Tuesday next week at 11 a.m. where the trade union, where the sugarcane union, the sugarcane cooperative, the Bunyoro outgrowers, and the Chinyara sugar factory and the Victoria sugar factory will sit in a meeting to resolve all these outstanding issues.
He urged sugarcane farmers to follow procedures and clear all the demands.
In principle that if any sugarcane trader got facility or funding or seeds from Chinyara, they should not sell to Victoria Sugar. They should only sell to Chinyara till when that arrangement or agreement is concluded. They should pay off Chinyara their debt before they may think of selling elsewhere for better price.
The chairperson Bunyoro Sugarcane Farmers Cooperative Union, Muhammad Kazimbiraine, says business is back to normal at the Way Bridge.
There has been an agreement between the two ministers that even now we are supposed to weigh our sugarcane. All the farmers that have got sugarcane that has been harvested or that can be harvested and ferried here between that time, they are free to bring that sugarcane here.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy for the two ministers which sat, Minister of Trade and Minister for the Youth, Honorable Barugahara Balamwatenyi, for clearing us, we as farmers, because we have been very annoyed because of this action.
Last Saturday, Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives ordered the closure of the Farmers' Way Bridge and police deployment, leading to a stall in business for farmers who supply cane to Bunyoro Sugarcane Growers Cooperative. Charity Marion Imnat and Abiona Francisco for UBC News.
Various stakeholders from the public and private sector, including development partners, gathered to discuss and contribute to Uganda's broader development agenda. The event was the annual conference organized by Uganda Development Forum, focused on addressing food security and poverty alleviation in Uganda. Take a look at this.
The conference held recently in the Acholi sub-region was themed Meaning Business, Getting Concrete About Partnerships. General Caleb Akandonaho Salim Saleh retired, the chairperson UDF, delivered the keynote speech which focused on the importance of partnerships in achieving sustainable development.
The PDM money is at the bottom of the pyramid. The machinery is in place. Why isn't it working? That's when we started asking ourselves, is it because we let the cooperative unions die? Because those cooperators, those ones who have been gathered by a madman called Kambugu, really they think that we don't want them. We don't want them as cooperatives. Secretary General NRM, these people accuse you of having killed their cooperative unions. Because between 1964 and 1994, the cooperative unions and the boards were the ones managing the entire production of coffee, cotton, and other produce.
Participants from the public and private sectors, non-profit organizations and development partners engaged in critical discussions aimed at strengthening cooperatives and producer organizations in Uganda's agricultural landscape.
We had our cooperative bank where we put our monies and shares. We want it revived. In other countries, they have an agricultural bank, a bank that favors the farmers.
A kilogram of meat in Congo is 54,000. A kilogram of meat in meat packers is 11,000-12,000. Who's going to slaughter their cow for 11,000-12,000 when you have fed it for 350?
Uganda Development Fund also reiterated its commitment to enhancing technical assistance delivery in 2025, ensuring better alignment among stakeholders to support the agricultural sector.
The center here, it has a higher capacity, but it is underutilized. And these are the issues that UDF has been talking about for a while. So we wanted our members to appreciate them firsthand, but continue with our conversation. So today we focused majorly on cooperatives and how we can make the cooperatives work.
The annual forum continues to serve as a platform for addressing food security and poverty alleviation in Uganda. By empowering cooperatives and enhancing their capacity, the forum seeks to drive local economic growth and improve livelihoods.
Now in sports, Edgars Youth program has officially unveiled their new kits to the new season. The event held in Mengo, where new players were enrolled into the academy. Speaking at the event, Edgar Watson, the team leader and founder, expressed gratitude for the unwavering support the academy has received since its inception in 2004. He highlighted that this evolution in kit design aligns with global trends and comes at the perfect time for the academy's growth. The iconic white kit has been retained, featuring notable improvements in design, material and functionality, such as porous design that enhances aeration. Additionally, 2 alternative jerseys in orange and green were introduced, both designed to meet the same high standards of the main kit.
It was the best thing I did for my children. You know, football, when you talk about Edgars, you just think about football, Edgars. At first, when we were joining, I didn't think that it would be this much valuable to me. I was like, since boys need to play with football, let me take my boys there, not knowing that it can become a real talent. And I've really benefited health-wise. Football can teach us how to behave, team.
Well, and that sums it up for News Tonight. We do return at 10 o'clock with more details. Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Good evening.